one who called Floyd out. And everybody calling, this funny about this, let's get on this. Everybody called Floyd Mayweather a cherry picker, but then damn, you guys start calling everybody a cherry picker, because guess what? Wasn't they the ones who picked to fight Floyd? Didn't they pick to fight him? That's my check. Robert Guerrero wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather. He was the one calling him out. So Floyd have a choice like every other opponent. He gonna pick who's calling him out or who you want to fight. Every fighter does it. Shit, when Manny Pacquiao fought Brandon Rios, even though to me that's a cherry picked opponent, Brandon Rios lost his last fight badly, and to me, we all know he lost to I forgot the fighter's name, to a fighter before that they gave Brandon Rios the decision to. People don't want to admit that, but like I said, I understand Manny Pacquiao came up with a loss, a big loss, so he wanted to get a touch up. But still, Brandon Rios shouldn't even be that. That's to me, that's below cherry picking. Brandon Rios coming up from 140 to go fight a dude at 147, and Brandon Rios to me was more tailor-made for Manny Pacquiao to just look good. We all know that. I ain't really gotta keep explaining how that was. And he lost his last fight. But let's say, I can say this. Let's say if Floyd Mayweather fought Brandon Rios, and he come fight that, even though Floyd won, he come fight that he didn't look that good. Y'all will be on Floyd Mayweather's ass if Floyd chose Brandon Rios as his next opponent. Y'all not gonna do that for Manny Pacquiao. Let me tell you something. The reason why people are not calling Manny Pacquiao a cherry picker and all this other stuff is because the main reason is because he lost before. He lost. That's the only reason why people are not calling Manny Pacquiao a cherry picker, because he lost. The reason why people calling Floyd Mayweather cherry picker and he never fought nobody, he's fighting these guys past his prime and all stuff. Let's be real. It's because Floyd Mayweather has never lost. And all bosses fight guys who call them out. I mean, you can't, if there's 10 guys in line, they're all calling you out, you can only choose one. I don't give a damn if he's better than next one. Everybody got their own decision of who they want a certain fighter to fight next. But all that fighter can do is make a choice out of the 10 options he got. That's all he can do. So who really cares? You just pick your choice. Just make sure that guy is a solid fighter. But I'm going to change the Manny Pacquiao real quick. And let's go back to his last, Manny Pacquiao, since y'all saying that he's a great fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge Manny Pacquiao fan. I'm a huge Floyd Mayweather fan. I'm just a big boxing fan if you want to put it all together. So I give everybody their credit and just due. But I will call it how I see it. Now let's go to Manny Pacquiao since 2008. Let's go late 2008. Manny Pacquiao fights Oscar De La Hoya, right? Oscar De La Hoya was 35 years old and he came off of pretty much a weak performance against a guy who nobody really knew, Steve Forbes. Steve Forbes really ain't all that damn good, but Oscar won it by an okay decision, but that was no big win for Oscar De La Hoya. And then when Oscar fought Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya had to come down all the way down from 154 pounds to 147, which is 147 Oscar hasn't fought in years. He hadn't fought at 147 in years. So, of course, Manny Pacquiao is going to look good in that fight. All the Manny Pacquiao heads are going to be like, oh my God, he beat Oscar De La Hoya. Really, I don't count that because clearly Oscar De La Hoya is insane. But you cannot say, we can't take all the credit from Manny Pacquiao, because at the end of the day, he did what he had to do. He beat the guy who fought him. I mean, to me, and the Oscar De La Hoya fans got to realize that Oscar De La Hoya was the one who pretty much agreed to come down to 147 to fight Manny Pacquiao. So, regardless of that, it's still a good win for Manny Pacquiao. Right? It's still a good win for him. But you cannot compare the win for Manny Pacquiao beating Oscar De La Hoya to what Floyd Mayweather had to do. That's a total different game thing. That's a whole different thing. When Floyd fought Oscar De La Hoya, people don't want to admit it. Floyd he was 147. He had to move up to a division that he had never been fought at before, to 154 pounds, because Oscar was playing the A side. He put 10-ounce gloves on Floyd Mayweather. He wore his protector damn near to his chest. He chose the ring. He made sure everything that was possible to make it tough for Floyd Mayweather. So, of course, Floyd was not going to look as good as Manny Pacquiao Pacquiao fans don't want to admit it, but that was why Pacquiao looked so much better than Floyd Mayweather. And remember, you cannot compare when guys fight in different divisions. When you fight in higher divisions, I don't compare when a guy fights in the lower division. Only if they fought in that same division. Even if it's the same guy, I don't compare it like that. Now, after that, he fights Ricky Hatton. Manny Pacquiao fights Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton, when Manny Pacquiao beat Ricky Hatton, yeah, it was a solid performance because he beat Ricky Hatton. Because regardless if you want to believe it or not, Ricky Hatton was the best at 140 pounds. But he was already defeated when he fought Manny Pacquiao. But he was never defeated at 140 pounds. So that was a solid win for Manny Pacquiao. No matter how you want to see it, it was still a solid win. But then again, you cannot compare that win to Floyd Mayweather's win because it was in different divisions. Manny Pacquiao fought Ricky Hatton at 140. Floyd fought Ricky Hatton at 147 pounds. Now people want to keep saying that, oh, Ricky Hatton was a 140 pound fighter, but you gotta remember, before Ricky had fought Floyd Mayweather, he already fought one time before at 147 and became a welterweight champion before he fought Floyd Mayweather. Y'all gotta realize that too. Before he had fought Floyd. And remember, it's still different divisions. Remember, Ricky Hatton gains a lot of weight in fights. So he was a lot bigger when he fought Floyd Mayweather. And Ricky had the most confidence. He was undefeated. Nobody's beat him for. And like I said, ain't nothing like your first loss. So I don't compare Manny Pacquiao's, win over Floyd Mayweather. To me, they both was great. To me, Floyd deserved more credit because Ricky was undefeated at that time. Nobody had beaten him for, but people want to cloud that because they're trying to find, the whole point is to find another fighter who they think is good enough. But let's get to Manny Pacquiao's next opponent. Miguel Cotto. Like I say, I have no problems with the cash weight thing. I mean, Miguel Cotto agreed to go fight Manny at 145 pounds. So to me, it's all Miguel Cotto's fight. So Manny Pacquiao just took the best of the situation. And he did a damn great job at it. You got to give him his credit. But then again, if you were to compare that win to Floyd Mayweather's win, it's still on two different levels. When Floyd fought Miguel Cotto, here you go again. He had to move all the way up to 154 pounds. And I told y'all before, I don't compare divisions. Higher divisions, lower divisions, I don't compare it. Only if you fight in the same division. Floyd had to move up and wear a 10-ounce glove again. Now, I don't think Manny Pacquiao would have had the same result fighting Cotto at 154 pounds. I don't think Manny Pacquiao has yet to wear 10-ounce gloves yet to slow you down. Them things big as hell. Have you seen the 10-ounce gloves for them smaller men? And plus, you got to remember, when Manny Pacquiao fought Miguel Cotto, Cotto came up with a struggle win against Joshua Clottey where he just didn't look that good at all. When Floyd fought Miguel Cotto came out with one of his best wins. It was a revenge win against Margarito. So, of course, Miguel Cotto gained a lot of his confidence back. But I don't compare how Floyd looked against Miguel Cotto to what Manny Pacquiao looked against Miguel Cotto because they fought it in different divisions. So you really can't compare it because they fought in different divisions. Now, I must admit, at the welterweight division, Manny Pacquiao had the best performance against Miguel Cotto, in my opinion. I mean, that was a stellar performance at 145 pounds. And like I said, the people with Miguel Cotto fans keep saying that, Pacquiao drained Miguel Cotto, but Miguel Cotto, no matter how much you want to agree to it, he agreed to do it. He wanted the money. That's the reason why he wanted to go down there, because he wanted to fight Pacquiao because he knew it would make a lot of money. So, at the end of the day, he did it. It's a solid win for Manny Pacquiao. I don't give a damn about all that stuff. You agree to it, you lose, it is what it is. On to the next one. Manny Pacquiao's next opponent was Joshua Clottey. Like I say, Joshua Clottey came off of a loss. To me, we all know Joshua Clottey was never that good opponent. I ain't gonna waste no time on that one. Let's go to the next one. Margarito. This to me was a joke. Margarito got dominated by Shane Mosley before he fought some bum in Mexico to fight Manny Pacquiao. So how is that a solid? To me, that's cherry picking right there. Him and Joshua Clottey, them two are cherry pickers because they didn't look good their last fight. They didn't win or look good. And their opponent wasn't solid enough. So how are you going to call Floyd the cherry picker when you got a guy who's just fighting guys who didn't look good or get, what's it called, or lost? So you really can't judge people on like stuff like that. But he fights Margarito. He dominates Margarito. To me, it was a really exciting fight, to be honest with you. I mean, he did what he had to do to Margarito. But I ain't waste no time on that one either. Let's go to the next guy. He fights Shane Mosley. Now, I don't compare the Shane Mosley fight to what Floyd Mayweather did. Now, y'all comparing that fight to what Manny Pacquiao did to him. I give Pacquiao pretty much no credit for the Shane Mosley fight. And the only reason why I did that because last time I checked, when Shane Mosley dominated Margarito, the first person he had called was Manny Pacquiao to fight him when he was pretty much at the heights of his career. And what did Freddie Roach say? They said that no, I think they wanted for they said that Shane was too big at that time. Yeah, they told Shane that he was too big, and they just wanted to wait. They didn't want to take the challenge right then. So Shane Mosley moved on to the next guy, which was Floyd Mayweather. Y'all remember that Floyd had just beat Marquez. Shane jumps in the ring and said, "You want to fight me?" and all that stuff and all that stuff. So Floyd was just pretty much like, "Chill, man. We'll get to you when we get to you." And everybody's like, "Oh, Floyd is ducking off Shane Mosley." But in the end of the day, Floyd Mayweather fought Shane Mosley, come out his biggest win, and dominated the guy. I don't want to hear about, oh, he was 38 years old, he wasn't in his prime. And I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna say this again. Floyd Mayweather wasn't in his prime either. So how can you tell? He was 33 years old. You're not in your prime at 33 years old. I don't give a damn how it is. And to me, what happened then, to me, would have happened years ago when they fought. Because to me, Floyd was always a more skilled fighter than Shane Mosley. But I think it would have been a lot more competitive. I think Floyd would probably still dominated the guy, but I think it would have been the results pretty much been the same, the results. But like I said, when Manny Pacquiao fought Shane Mosley, Shane had just lost to Floyd Mayweather. He just came off of an ugly draw against Sergio Mora. I mean, he didn't look good at all in that fight. Then that's when Manny Pacquiao fights Shane Mosley. Like, come on, man, that's not a solid win. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Manny Pacquiao shouldn't have fought Shane Mosley after Floyd Mayweather, but you at least got to wait till Shane Mosley to get his confidence back and get some solid wins before you fight the dude. I mean, the dude looked horrible his last fight. Let's be real. On to the next one. Now, this is where it gets very kind of tricky for Manny Pacquiao. It appears to me when Manny Pacquiao starts fighting guys who coming off of wins or really solid wins, he struggles with dramatically. I noticed that about him. Every time he fought Marquez made sure he came off of a solid win before he fought Manny Pacquiao. And every time he gave Manny Pacquiao a hell of a fight. I mean, they had, to me, the best sequels I've ever seen. Him and Marquez. Manny Pacquiao and Marquez. And, you know, I ain't going to really get into the whole Marquez and Manny Pacquiao thing. It was controversial the third time. Let's move on. He fights Tim Bradley, another guy who pretty much came off of a solid performance, who's never lost, but had to move up in weight. But I'm not calling Tim Bradley what's called a cherry pick opponent for Manny Pacquiao at all. And the reason why is Tim Bradley was undefeated. He was big enough to come to 147 pounds. He had all the confidence in the world, and he just came off a solid performance. So I don't give a damn about what weight class he was in. I mean, he was calling out Manny Pacquiao. So I give Manny Pacquiao much props for fighting Timothy Bradley. Because Tim Bradley was undefeated. He was hungry. He was wanting that money, man. And, you know, it was controversial, so I'm not going to get into that whole Tim Bradley and Tim Bradley and Manny Pacquiao. So pretty much after that, we already know he fights Marquez again, and pretty much gets knocked out. But then again, Marquez came out and made sure before the fourth fight, he came out of a solid performance. So, you know, I'm going to make another video about this ducking and cherry picking, but I'm going to just leave it right here. See y'all until the next time.